Hey everyone, Sam here at Model Chili Scale Models with Bandai's X-Wing Starfighter model kit, and this is in 1:144 scale, so I thought it would be a nice, small, quick little weekend project that I could smash out between larger builds. And this has been on my stash for quite a while, so the box is quite old now. But yeah, let's have a quick look inside. So as typical for these small Bandai kits, the instructions are on the inside of the lid there. And so we've got one bag of plastic. So inside we've got no waterside decals for this one, just a sheet of stickers for all of the markings in the canopy frame. And then the sprues. So we've got top half of the fuselage there with the astromech droid. Lower half in the back, and the blasters there. And then the wings and engine parts for each half. And then the little stand. Right, so let's get building. So for these types of kits, which are quite simple and just pushed together, my usual method is just to remove each part first and then clean everything up. Now with all of the parts cleaned up and sorted, I'm going to start assembling. So first of all, I need to put all of the engine bits together. And so the two wing segments will just slot into each other. Like that. And then you've got the movable action once they're in the fuselage. But for now I'm just going to keep these separate so I can paint them up a bit easier. Now to start the painting process, first I'm going to put down a layer of primer, and for that I'm using Mission Models black primer. And now with the primer dry, I'm going to apply the base coat of colour, and I'm going to use Vallejo Model Air Seaplane Grey. Alright, so the Seaplane Grey has had time to dry and set. And so now I want to apply some markings using Vallejo Model Air Chrome. And so I need to mask off some sections, and for that I'll be using some Tamiya masking tape. But first, just to make life a little bit easier, I'm just going to remove these first, just so I don't bump into them and break them off. And there's the wings masked up. Used a bit of larger masking tape just to block off the bits I don't want to paint. And yeah, it's fiddly, it's time consuming, but hopefully it'll be worth it. I'm sure I'll get some overspray somewhere, but I can deal with that later. So that's that one and that one. And now moving on to the fuselage. Right, so that's everything masked up. Now it's painting time. Alright, so the masking job itself came out pretty nice. Quite happy with that. However, pulling off the masking tape has taken up a significant amount of paint from the plastic. Anyway, enough of the moaning. I'm going to start a little bit of brush detail painting now before I put everything together, specifically just the inside of the wings. First up, I'm going to use Vallejo Model Air gunmetal for the engine parts. Right, so that's those bits done. Now I'm just going to start assembling. All the paint has made it a little bit harder to get these bits in together, as you'd expect. Alright, so there it is all put together. And despite all of the unnecessary paint chipping, I think it's looking pretty good so far. Alright, so now that everything's together, time to carry on with some more detail painting. But first I think I'm going to try and tidy up some of this paint job. So just going to brush paint the grey over where the paint's come off the plastic. Hopefully it's not too noticeable. There's a big one down in this recess here, so it's going to be quite hard to see anyway. Just brush painting, especially Vallejo Air, because it's so thin that just has a slightly different colour and finish to it. So I might still use parts where this has come off as weathering, but just try and cover it up as much as I can. Actually, I'm going to leave this marking at the bottom. It's kind of interesting. Kind of looks like a white stripe that's got a bit of chipping on it. So I might just lean into that. Alright, so that's looking a little bit better now. Alright, so for this little part here where the paint's been taken off, almost in a completely perfect and symmetrical line. That's quite a interesting happy accident there. So I'm just got a toothpick and I'm just going to scrape away a bit more plastic just to finish that line. And I'll bring it back here a little bit. And then extend it down here. Now I'm actually going to use the same technique just to carve out a few more panels, just randomly here and there, using the lines of the kit to stay within the lines so I don't go too crazy. This is just adding a little bit of weathering and variation to the kit's surface. And now for the second base colour, I'm going to use the Citadel colour Phoenician purple. I just wanted a nice deep rich purple, and I'm using the Citadel colour base because these go on really bright and you don't need that many layers to get a nice solid colour. But it's really important to thin these paints down with some water. So with this colour I'm just going to paint some lines down the wings. probably need to do 2 or 3 thin coats just to make that come out a bit better. And a bit of purple for the nose as well. Now while I'm waiting for the purple to dry so I can add another coat, I'm just going to add a few more chrome highlights. Right, so that's all of the purple stripes done, and I just used a bit of chrome and a bit of the dark grey just to clean up those lines where they went a bit astray. There, so now the next step is to paint in the canopy. Just using a black here to fill in the recessed areas of where the glass will be. And I'm just going to apply several coats of that till it's a nice solid black. Right, so the next step is to apply a light grey wash over the whole kit. And that's going to be Vallejo Model Wash Light Grey. So the wash has had time to dry overnight, and I went and painted the laser barrels with the chrome and then just did a wash over that. I just wanted them to show up a little bit more, give it a bit more balance. So now it's time to do a bit of dry brushing. I just want to bring out the chrome a little bit more and highlight some of the details on the engines with the chrome to bring out the gunmetal base. And so putting a bit of chrome on the brush and then wiping most of it off with a paper towel. I can then brush over the engines. And also I want to bring out some of this detail along the top. And then just very lightly brushing it over. Some of the darker grey details just indicate a bit of weathering, a bit of chipping. And now just using the same chrome and a smaller brush, just going to put in just a little bit of chipping here and there. Just a few specks. Chip up some of this purple. Chipping also helps to clean up or hide up some of these hand brushed lines. Now, not forgetting the little R2 unit in the back, I'm going to paint his dome a nice gold colour using Citadel colour Retributor armour, which is a really nice bright solid gold. Thinned down, of course. Now using a very thin brush and a bit of black wash. Just going to very carefully put a dot on his eye. Can I get steady enough just to go bam? Nope. Too much. Okay, let's try that again. Got too much paint on the brush there. Almost. There's just a little bit of overspill I need to clean up. I think that might do it. No, I think I need another dot. Much better. That's the one. Now just for a little bit of silver around the top of his dome. Alright, I think that'll do for the astromech. Trying to put any more details, and I think I might go slightly crazy. Although there's a little bit of gold there I need to clean up. It's just kind of back and forth, back and forth. Right, so as tempting as it is to keep going, I think I'm going to call it done for now. I think it's starting to get a little bit busy, but I've added enough chipping and weathering and a wash, bits and pieces. But yeah, I'm pretty happy to call that complete. And it's been a really fun, quick little project. These miniature Bandai kits, they're kind of easy to get and they're quite cheap. So they offer a nice way to flex your creative license a little bit, add some custom colours, custom paint scheme, and you can end up with something that's quite unique for Star Wars anyway. But as always, I'm happy to hear your comments if you've got any questions or any observations about any of the techniques that I've used. Feel free to leave a comment and I'll try my best to answer each one. And I hope you've enjoyed the video. So the wings still close. They don't quite close fully. They seem to just want to pop open a little bit. Maybe that's just due to my painting interfering with all the precise Bandai engineering. But I'm just going to keep them open, I think. And of course the stand pivots there so you can pose it in various angles. And yeah, it makes another nice little addition to my growing miniature Bandai collection. So again, let me know what you think, and I hope to see you in the next video.